Good morning. I am so excited to have a very special guest here on Purpose Today with Dr. April Dobson. And I'm very excited that we have an opportunity to have a very special guest who's been on the show before, and very excited to welcome back to Purpose Today with Dr. April Dobson, our very special guest, Petrena Notice. Hello, Petrena, and welcome to the show. It's such a pleasure to have you back. And it looks like we may have lost Petrena. So give us just a moment. We will. So welcome, Petrena. So great to have you back on the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, April. I'm so excited to be here. Always enjoy our sessions. The last time was absolutely amazing.
Thank you. And I want us to go ahead and jump right in. I know that we likely have some people who may not have had an opportunity to see the prior episode that you were in episode 13. And so I just want to give an opportunity for everyone who may not be aware, if you could please share a little bit about yourself with our viewers.
Hi, everyone. So, as you know, I'm Petrena.
And I'm sorry, Petrena, I can't hear you. It looks like on my end you might be muted. And so we have just a bit of a technical difficulty. Hopefully we can get Petrena back. And so what we will do here is I will see if we can get her back into our studio. And if not, then we can just basically try to call her on audio and see if we can get her back into the studio. And it looks like we have Petrena back. So sorry about those technical difficulties. Welcome back. So we couldn't hear you previously. So for those of you who may not be aware, if you can just share a little bit about yourself with our viewers.
Okay, thank you so much. So, my name is Petrena. I'm the founder of Women Ascend Network, which aims to equip and to empower women to make impactful contributions and also to emerge. I'm also a minister, a mother, a wife, and a legal academic.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your background, and we're very excited to have you here. And I'm sure there's a lot of value that you can add for people who are watching this live, and for people who might watch the interview later when this airs on the Daily Gospel Network. So, could you please share insight regarding your perspective on both purpose and passion in our lives and our families?
Absolutely. I think it's an interesting question. When I heard it, I was like, wow. I think purpose is so important. This is something that we touched on in our first interview. It's important because it drives you. it's the reason for your being. And one of the things, I'll touch on this later on in my book, I mentioned that an item could be used for many different things, but it has an essential purpose. So if you take a chair, for instance, the main purpose for the chair is to sit on it, but someone could choose to stand on it, someone could choose to lie on it, but its essential purpose is for us to sit on it. So sometimes if we don't have a clear direction as to what our purpose is, we find that we're spread thin. And that's why people get so frustrated in life, because we're gifted, we have different gifts, talents, passions, but we're everywhere, and so we lose fulfillment. And so one of the essence of purpose is for fulfillment, and also for you to fulfill it. It's the reason for your being, as I mentioned. And when it comes on to passion, I would say that they go hand in hand. That passion fuels your purpose, purpose fuels your passion. Because if you know who you are, what you should be, you are driven. Every day you wake up, you have passion for it. You might not be happy, but you're very passionate about your purpose. And if you think about it, when you're passionate about something, you wake up at night and you're thinking, like I wake up at 3 a.m. and I'm thinking about Woman Ascend. I'm thinking about what I need to do and how I need to do these things. How can I equip women? It really fuels you. And when it comes on to families, I would say purpose is significant for a number of reasons. But when it comes for the purpose of this interview, I'd say one, it keeps you as a unit. If the leaders of the family know, okay, this is the reason for us as a family. We know fundamentally from the Bible, we're supposed to multiply and have dominion, etc. But as the family, you should have one driven goal. That is the purpose for your family. So when you're making decisions, it's surrounding your purpose. And one of the key things I would say is identity. So if you're able to raise children, if you're able to make decisions surrounding your purpose, it actually helps what you do, where you go, who you talk to. It helps who you interact with. It helps with the identity of the children. You know that as I'm raising them, they know who they are according to purpose. And I find that you worry less because you're raising your children within the identity that they have. It's not to say that you won't have external influences. Of course you'll have, but you would have raised them on one trajectory, and that's the path that you will take. And I think that helps in the long run, because they will not have crisis with who they are and the purpose that they should have. They'll see the leaders within the family being driven with that particular path as well. And I think that helps, because sometimes I would say when you start a family and you're not too sure about who you are, there is a struggle, because when you come into yourself, you might realize that actually I have made certain decisions all this while that wasn't beneficial for me as a person, wasn't beneficial for my family. And now it's a struggle, because the other party might think, well, did you not know this all along? Things could be different. So there are frictions within that. So I definitely think that it's so important, the way that you raise your children, the way that you interact, the churches that you go, the people that you talk to. It's very, very essential. The schools that you send your children to, that's a major, major one. And the purpose of the family where you're going, dictates how you do things within your home. So I absolutely think that it is essential. It's important.
Absolutely. And Petrina, you said a lot of things that really stand out that I want us to talk a little bit about, and I want us to, delve into. You said it helps with your children in, them knowing their identity. It helps when you wake up in the morning because you're thinking about, your purpose, and it helps you to know where to go. It helps you to know what to do. So I guess, what I want to make sure that for our viewers, that they see and that it's driving home is, what are some of the I guess implications, like when people use their purpose to, drive what they teach their kids in terms of their identity, when they decide, what activities they take part in, what implications can it have if we ignore considering our purpose when we're helping to teach our kids about identity and we're making decisions on what it is that we do?
I think essentially, just before I even dive into that question, we have to, as a unit, as a family, decide along with purpose what your values are. What are your values as a family? What are your boundaries? And if you keep that in mind, it helps when you're directing the family. So when it comes on to the implications, one, you will have children who have low self-esteem, children who are uncertain about who they are. They're easily influenced because they've been brought up in a system that is, all over the place. One day we're doing one thing, another day we're doing something else. So it causes confusion. But if you're able to raise your child and say, for instance, in my case, that you are from a Christian home, you have a Christian family, we go to church on Sunday, or God is Jesus Christ, it helps when that conversation comes up. And even as they're growing, there are certain conversations that you need to have, especially now, and I don't wish to go into the political side of things, especially the society that we're in now and the age that we're in, where people can choose to do anything. You can choose to be a cat if you want to. Your child should know that actually I am a human being. I cannot be a cat. Even if I think I want to meow, that is not something that I should be doing. So you're instilling values and principles in your child even before they go out there, so that the world outside doesn't plant seeds. So your duty or responsibility is to plant those seeds before someone else plants it. So that, I would say, is you have identity crisis, you could have low self-esteem, you could have confusion as well. And I think a major factor now is you have children that are suffering from anxiety. It's really a crisis, because if you're brought up in a home that you're not used to hearing reassuring words, for example, like in our household, one of the things we talk about is we really push the narrative of confidence. Like, I love that you're able to think for yourself. I love that you're articulate. I love you're so creative. So you're constantly giving reassurance, even over the simplest of things, such as holding your cup from a very young age. But if you're in an environment that is so toxic that you're never good enough, nothing that you do is ever good enough, then you're growing up with the mindset that I'm not good enough, because in that home, perhaps one of the values or the principle that wasn't instilled is to love yourself or to be confident in yourself. So let's say you have a family whose purpose is to, let's say we for example, I've decided as a family, not myself, but for example, that we're going to raise leaders, or we're going to raise people that will spread the good news. You have to start by training your child to love themselves, to make decisions by themselves, because your purpose in that path, that this is what we're going to do as a family. So it's not just when mom and dad is outside in the workplace or in whatever organization, but the leadership starts from within their home, and you start to see who the leaders are, and that should come naturally. So you should be telling your child, you're to lead. For example, you're an ambassador of Jesus Christ, therefore you should not be influenced. Don't follow your friends. And I know, sometimes you think that they're really young, but actually that's the time that you should be instilling those principles, because you want them to grow up with the mindset that I'm a leader, and my purpose is to also raise leaders, notwithstanding that they will also have their own purpose. And that's something that you as a parent will also want to pray about, and to make sure that you're nurturing the gifts and the talents according to their individual purpose as well, within the purpose of the family.
Absolutely. And that's really good. And I think it's important. I'm sure we have a lot of parents who, are watching live, or who will watch once this airs on the Daily Gospel Network. But, you talked about a lot of things, and we, started this portion of our conversation, talking about purpose and passion, and being able to ensure that purpose and passion really are considered, in our lives. And that's really, that we do things, with that lens, right? That we're aligning with our purpose and our passion. So have you always had that perspective regarding the importance of purpose and passion? or was there a pivotal moment for you that led to that discovery?
So I've sort of played around the idea of purpose, definitely passion. I've always been passionate about different things in my life, and I'm just reflecting on the question that you get asked as you're growing up. What do you want to become when you're growing up? I think I've changed at least 10 times, but throughout my lifetime, I remember being very passionate about things, but definitely not too sure about my purpose or the purpose of or the rationale for purpose within the family. But as I am matured and as I got older over time, I would say it took a period of time. It wasn't one moment. I didn't have an illuminated moment, like a light bulb moment. It was more like a period in time that I started to develop or started to understand my purpose. And I find that sometimes we may put pressure on ourselves to find out our purpose overnight. But if you're in a situation where you're still figuring it out, I would say it's okay. It's okay to have it in doses, small doses. And the more doses you take and the more you think about it, the more you reflect on it, you will eventually get the bigger picture. But I would say is to take those baby steps that will push you closer to purpose, and you'll find that you get to have a clearer understanding. I would say with regards to family, that it wasn't until I started my family that I started to see the significance. It's not until you discover purpose that the revelation surrounding it comes in, and the mystery
That's good.
surrounding your purpose comes in. Absolutely.
That's good. And I know you spoke just a bit ago about people exposing themselves, right, to what aligns with their purpose. And as they continue, they'll get a clearer picture. So, speaking of gaining a clearer picture, on our purpose, I know there's a lot that you've been doing to really help people to discover and pursue their purpose. And I know you've been making a lot of efforts to inspire people to pursue their purpose and actively making an impact. So, can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing through Woman Ascend Network to help people to pursue their purpose?
Absolutely, thank you. I like that when I talk about Woman Ascend Network, because I'm just so inspired. So with Woman Ascend Network, essentially our focus, as I mentioned, is to equip women, but we focus on confidence and visibility. So how to grow your confidence, how to build your confidence, and not just in your workplace, not just in church, but even in your home. It's within yourself. So how can I become confident as a person to do what I've been called to do? How can I become confident as a person to put myself out there? How can I become confident to apply for that job, to start that business, to make key decisions, to be a voice for my generation? It's important as women that we are positioned to be able to make key decisions, positioned to amplify our voice. I think we're in such a wonderful full era where we're seeing women on the forefront. It's amazing to see that we're in different spaces that years ago, even 20 to 30 years ago, we wouldn't see ourselves. And so what Women Ascend does, we do mentorship, we do coaching. We had the amazing Dr. April, who did some one-to-one coaching sessions for us, which was feedback was brilliant, by the way. So we do, different webinars, we do career webinars, different workshops on imposter syndrome. We do some resources. We offer different types of resources as well, one of which we had made available during our career webinars. So different retreats. One of the things that we are looking to do this year is to have a day where we just focus on purpose, and then we crown it with prayer. You see, there are different avenues that we can take to build confidence in women and to equip women. And really, we want to make sure that we are exploring all of those dynamics, because it's not just a one hat fit all type of situation when it comes on to confidence and visibility.
Absolutely. And I know you just briefly touched on the virtual Career Beyond Boundaries webinar just a little bit ago. But can you share what other events that you're hosting through Woman Ascend Network and how viewers can register or become involved if they want to support your cause?
Thank you. So this year we have amazing things happening. The 29th of this month, we have a session that's called Girls Chat. And essentially, this is where we will be dealing with the mental and the emotional side of things that may have affected our confidence as women. So rejection, for instance, low self-esteem, depression. So we'll have some conversations surrounding those issues, and then we'll have a counselor who will come in at the end and crown it. We will also be collaborating with another group. So one of the things that we do within Women Ascend, we do quite a lot of collaboration. So we do offer different workshops, and if an organization believe that, you know, some of the things that we offer, such as confidence building, imposter syndrome, leadership, if they think that they would like to collaborate with us, then we meet them. Basically, we go to their location and we deliver those sessions. We also have, over the summer period, a conference that's coming up, which I'm so excited about. It's called Emerge, and essentially what we're focusing on is the fulfillment of purpose and how to emerge with our purpose. And then we'll also have some networking sessions. So you could work with us, you know, by collaborating. You could sponsor us financially. You could also volunteer with us, and of course you can always share our flyers, our posters, all our content on social media platforms. You can find us on all social media platforms at Woman Ascend Network, CIC, and our website, which is on your screen, which is womanascendnet.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And are those events in person? Are they virtual?
So some of our events is virtual because we're global. We'd like to impact as many people as possible. So majority of our events, I would say, okay, maybe 50-50 is online. So the event on the 29th is an online event. Summer conference is a face-to-face event. Most of our networking events also will be face-to-face as well. But our webinars, from the name, you can tell it's online. Our girls chat is online as well. Our career events, where possible, will be online as well. So we're looking to cater for all needs, people that are not located in the UK, and then for the face-to-face and the interaction side of things, we'll have some face-to-face sessions.
Fantastic. And who is the target audience for Woman Ascend Network CIC? And are there any geographical restrictions if someone doesn't reside in the UK? I know you touched a little bit, but I want to make sure that viewers are clear.
Absolutely, that's okay. So, geographically, we are registered in the UK, but we do go around the UK. So, some of the events that we have this year will be in different locations across the UK. As I mentioned, it's really for us to come to you. So, most of our events might be in London or Bedfordshire, but if it's a collaboration, wherever you are, we will find you. We will come to your base and we will have our sessions there. So really, there are no restrictions when it comes on to location. And so if you find that you're in another country, in another city, and you want to collaborate with us, by all means, please send us an email or pop us a message on any of our social media platforms, and we will work it out. As I mentioned, we really want to make impact. We want to make sure that as women, you're doing your best, you're giving your all, but you have the skills that you need, and we want to give you those skills. I know we briefly mentioned our careers webinar, which we had the amazing Dr. April, who was our keynote speaker. Brilliant session. And one of the things that we noticed with the questions, it's, I have this degree, I've studied this course. Now, how do I transition either to a different field, or to, ask for a raise in my salary, or even to transition to something completely different. So people have ideas, and women have ideas, and they want to do things, but they may lack that direction, and that's where Womanist and comes in. We want to give you that direction, and we're here for it. So please feel free to reach out to us.
Thank you. And so we may have some viewers who are watching live or who watch this when this airs on the Daily Gospel Network. Maybe they're interested in launching a nonprofit organization. What, 2 or 3 pieces of advice would you give them if they're interested in launching a nonprofit organization?
Brilliant. I would start off by saying, make sure you know your why. Why are you starting this non-profit organization? It's so important, because this is going to be what anchors you when you don't feel like doing it, when you're getting rejection, because it will come when you're just trying to navigate seasons in your life. You always want to know your why. You can always go back, look at your why, and that will keep you going. Secondly, you want to figure out your mission. What do you intend to do? What do you intend to carry out, and how will you get there? So you're looking at where you are now and where you want to go, and the steps that you need to take for you to get there. So that will be the purpose of your mission. And also, whoever reads your vision statement or your mission statement will have a clear understanding of what you stand for. You also want to be clear on your values. What are your values as an organization? What are your values? And I think it's important, because if you're clear on your values of an organization, it will save you in the long run. Even, for people who want to invest in your organization, the collaborations that you do, it's so important that you know what your values are. And you want to establish your boundaries. As a person who's running the organization, and also the organization itself, what are you willing to do? What are you not willing to do? And why are you not willing to do those things? Because you want to have a solid foundation. So one of the things that my team and we always discuss is accountability. So when we're making decisions, we always go back to the vision. Is this in line with the vision of our organization? The things that we do, is it in line with it? So whatever program we're thinking of doing, we always go back to the vision, because the vision is so clear that it will always steer you. So those are the key
Absolutely.
things that I would say.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that wonderful advice. I know we're getting, close. We have about 3 minutes left in our live. And I know we previously talked about your book in the prior interview, and I have that showing on the screen. And so, what are 2 or 3 key areas your book will help viewers with by reading your book?
Thank you. So, in addition to purpose and the power of woman, it will always remind you to tap into your imagination. It will remind you to think big, not to think location, not to think the funds in your account, but to think vision, to think direction, and to see yourself at the top, to see yourself where you truly belong, and to find the pathways to getting you there, one of which is through your imagination and through your creativity. It will also remind you that you are born to make impact and to be an influencer, to influence those around you, to influence yourself, and to influence your society. So whatever you're going through, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, remember you were born to be great, and you were born to do more. These are the key things that Woman Ascend touches on. And from the name, you can tell it's all about impact. It's all about influence. It's reminding you that you deserve to be at the top. You deserve to rise up, but you have to make a conscious decision to take yourself to the top.
That's awesome. And is there anything else that you would like to share about your book, Woman Ascend Network, or yourself or your family with our viewers before we conclude today?
Yeah, so I just actually want to remind each and everyone who's watching Purpose today that you have a purpose. You might not know what the purpose is. You might think it's too big, it's too small, but you want to always have a positive mindset. When you start to think about yourself, think positively, think positive thoughts towards yourself. Once you open up your mind to think about you in a positive way, you'll find that answers come to solutions comes to problems that you might think that you're not able to solve surrounding your purpose. But every day, think about yourself, think about your gifts, your talents, and how you can utilize those gifts and talents that God has given you to fulfill your purpose and to make impact.
That's wonderful. And I do want to acknowledge Nana OC. I hope I'm saying that properly, who's watching us from Ghana today. I was trying to look at the chat to see if there were any questions, but I don't see any questions in the chat. Feel free to put your questions there, and perhaps we can send a private message to you if we don't have an opportunity to answer your questions live today. I also see Emmanuel Owusu. I hope I'm saying that properly.
Yes.
Who said impact and influence amazing. Adele Abrafi Osai says thanks for these words of motivation, and you all are very welcome, and thank you so much for watching. And so one final question as we conclude on tonight: how can viewers connect with you if they would like to do so?
Thank you. So you can find me on all social media platforms is Petrena Notice. You can also email us at info@womanascendnet.com. You will find us there. Send us a message and we will respond to you. We are available and we're looking forward to connecting with you.
Wonderful. Well, Petrena, it is always a pleasure. You shared some insightful wisdom, some wonderful practical steps that we can use not only to pursue purpose in our own lives, but for those who are parents, to encourage them to really create the environment for children to understand their identity and to discover and live out their purpose. So thank you very much. I think there's so much more that we could talk about today. So I'm sure that we're going to have you back again on a future show. But thank you so much for joining. We do certainly appreciate having you here. And I hope that, everyone who's watching from around the world has an opportunity to be inspired. So thank you so much, Petrena. We'll be back to talk backstage. But thank you, everyone, for watching. Have an amazing day and live your life on purpose, in purpose, today and every day. Thank you and have a great day, everyone. We'll see you next week at 7 a.m.